What's up, guys? Hope everybody's doing well, and I hope everybody got the link up here at the top. So I sent that over a little bit early just so I could get it in through YouTube and I can actually pin it to the top. But make sure that you guys can see that up there. Let me know. And we should be good. Everybody can hear me, hopefully, and we're doing well here. Looks like the giveaway is live up there. Got a bunch of entries already. 91 entries. Sweet. So what's up? How's everybody doing? How's everybody's week been? What's going on, Quinn? Howdy, howdy. We are live. We are live. And I've got Brad over here with me. So can this track me? Here we go. There's Brad. So he's joining me today, I guess. Usually he takes off as soon as I sit down to do this. So he's hanging out. We got 79 people in here tonight. Paul Waller's in the house. Nice. Paul Walker is definitely not in the house. Sweet. Me too. I've been looking forward to this. Last week it was the first week that we didn't have a giveaway. I was just like slammed with a bunch of stuff and literally didn't even put together the actual link for last week's live stream until like a couple hours before. So a little bit more organized this week. We've got the one Kodlix GD70 mini PC, which I have right over here. So we were giving that away tonight, and that's going to end at, what time did I set it for? I think like 9:15. Let's see. Just to give everybody a chance to enter to win this. Yeah, 9:15 tonight. So we got a little bit of time. Just want to make sure everybody has a chance because I didn't put this up for everybody to enter to win beforehand, just because, honestly, I just put the actual giveaway page together like literally 5 minutes ago. So just playing catch up as always. Not too prepared in advance these days, but trying to get it done. I'm doing a lot of videos and trying to keep up with not losing too much sleep, which has been an issue in the past. So trying to just get a little bit more in a groove, I suppose. But how's everybody's week been? Everybody doing good? Very nice. Some Borat fans in here. Nice. How are you? Always good. Yeah, I was surprised we had a lot of people last week, actually, considering that I didn't really promote the live stream or any of that stuff, and I didn't do that. Usually I'll do like the video kind of highlighting what I'm giving away. Didn't have any of that, so it was kind of a lower key week last week, but still really great vibe, and always good to see that people aren't here just for the giveaways, which is always nice. Nice, you got my email. Awesome. Yeah, I looked at all your stuff, so really good stuff there. And I saw that you emailed me back today. I've been a little bit behind on emails today, but I have it sitting right in here. I will give it the attention it deserves a little bit later. So I saw that you did provide a link, though, so I'll definitely check that out. But thank you for sharing that stuff with me. Let's see. Let's get those likes up. Let's do it. How many people we got? Oh, 119. Nice. Nice, nice, nice. Always a little slow start getting everybody in here, but that's always good. Let's see. Here to see the dog. That's Brad. Snoozing as always. Yeah, usually he doesn't partake in the live streams. He usually takes off as soon as I get started. But yeah, and I was actually looking at my layout here. It's been a mess, and you can see, there we go. I always do it opposite because it's like a mirror image. I've got my T2 cabinet still dismantled behind me, but you can see I'm making progress. There we go. Pointing the wrong way on the Indiana Jones cabinet. So I should hopefully get both of them at least put back together this weekend, and then I'll start putting in like the mini PCs and doing the full mods next week. I will have full videos on both of those. So once I clear all that up, I was thinking about kind of changing things around a little bit, and I might do my live streams kind of facing that way. And then you guys that are looking to see the dog will see the dog a little bit more. Yeah, Brad's a good dog. He's getting old, though. He's 10 years old? Yeah, 10 years old now. Time flies. But still acts like a puppy. Couldn't tell that right now because he's zonked out, but yeah, Labs are good dogs. I had 3, and then last year we lost 1. We didn't lose him. I mean, he passed away, but I've had 3 dogs for as long as I can remember now. So down to 2 right now. The other one's upstairs sleeping on the couch. So he'll be, maybe I'll bring him into the next one here. Nice. Where are you seeing Pantera? I've actually been watching some of their videos online because now they've got the new, the new lineup with Zach Wild. I'm a big Zach Wild fan. But what city are you going to? Because I know they have like a smaller set of dates, right? It's not like a every city tour. Water tonight. Boring, right? Let's get those likes up. The Prophet 316 says. Yeah, boring water tonight. Just so I'm not. I don't know. I don't know what the logic was there. I just grabbed water for once, but probably because I don't know if I have a fridge down here, which is nice, but I don't know if it's stocked. I think I have Diet Dr. Pepper in there actually, which sounds pretty good right about now. Yeah, the cabinet's coming along. Man, it's a pain in the ass though. I'll be perfectly honest. Somebody asked me the other day if I would recommend doing it, and I don't know that I would, in all honesty. For me, I love the fact that what I actually hated about arcade one-ups was the size up until I decided to put them in here, where this is actually a relatively large space, but I didn't want to like clutter it with all types of stuff in the background. So I wanted to just have like a thin sort of layer of different cabinets. So I've been kind of working towards that. So in this unique sort of case, the smaller scale arcade one-ups actually make sense. And you can't really tell behind me because I'm sitting down that they are smaller scale. So, and you can actually see, there I go, going the wrong direction again. I don't know if you can see because of the little banner there, but yeah, I'll have to do it in the video that I end up doing. But I put a graphic on the riser too, and I had to kind of mess around with that because the way that they did it, there's actually like a little dip in the front of the riser, like standard with Arcade One Up. Well, the dip dropped down to where it took Indiana Jones's head off, so it just didn't make sense. So I ended up having to bring in the side graphic, putting it as the front graphic, and it just kind of was a pain, but it worked out in the end. I mean, it doesn't make sense to put Indiana Jones on the front of the riser and him not have a head. So, and then if I dropped it down, it would like cut off like the logo that was on there at the bottom. So it was a mess, but it all worked out in the end so far. So I just have the control deck to do. I just have to sand that down, put the graphic on there, paint the like T-molding edge so it has that yellow that matches, and then it'll be pretty much ready for the mini PC to get put into place and all that good stuff. So it'll be 4 players for that one. So let me dive into these comments here. Bear with me. Not much, unless you're talking to this dude over here, and I'll keep. Luckily, the camera follows me. Yeah, he's really entertaining tonight. Pomeranians, they can be vicious, right? I have a pit bull, and then he's a white lab, or technically, he's not a white. Although I heard that they actually created like a white lab breed now. Before it was like a white lab was a yellow lab, just white. I don't know. Now I guess there's a specific. I don't know. They have a specific name for white labs now. So I hear anyways. What happened to your T2 cab? It's right there. Right there. But what I'm doing is I'm modifying it. And what ended up happening was I broke the bezel on it. So I had drilled out spots I have to put the sensors in for the gun for IR. So those light guns require 4 sensors, and you have to put them like right in the middle of the screen and then top and bottom. So I had drilled out 3 perfectly fine, no issues, and then the last one cracked the bezel. So I got a new bezel, and then I started thinking about, all right, now how am I going to do this? And I wasn't crazy about drilling into the bezels to begin with. So long story short, I decided I'm going to do a recessed screen. And that just gives me like a little bit of a gap between the actual bezel and the screen, so I can put these sensors in there. And I was kind of weighing out the pros and cons of whether I should even bother doing that or just put a Botticera drive in there rather than the Chris Cool Mod Light Gun drive. And I've just been back and forth, very indecisive with that. But I think I'm going to just do the recessed screen, put the sensors in there, and then I have access to all those amazing games that his setup has. And there's just tons and tons of great ones on Technoparrot, and that's what is the real selling point for me, in all honesty. So, yeah, I've got everything pretty much set up. The sensors are ready to go. I just have to put it back together, then put the mini PC in and do all that. So, yeah, it's a process, much more of a process than I think I anticipated, but it'll be worth it in the end. And it'll be nice to get it off my friggin' floor because it's been sitting here for like 3 weeks now. I love doing these. It's always a blast to do these. So it's fun for me too. So I'm glad that you guys are enjoying it. And I certainly do appreciate the continued support now. We've been going like 3 months or maybe even almost 4 months with these live streams. And I feel like I'm getting better at them. And I'm going to be bringing, I mentioned last week, I'm going to be bringing in guests. And next week, I'm going to bring in two guys that I recently met. They're not big name YouTubers or anything like that. They're just starting out, in all honesty. And that's one thing that I want to do is I want to bring everyday people into. I don't want to just like try to get like huge YouTubers and big members of the community. I want to do that too, but I want to bring just like everyday people in. I want to bring some of you guys in too. So I have a few people that I have in mind. I've been talking to Retro Ralph as well. He's got a great YouTube channel. You guys probably already know of him. We've been just kind of trying to figure out when it's gonna, work out for both of our schedules. So that'll be fun because I've never, prior to me reaching out to him, never talked to him, but I've watched his content for several years now. In fact, he was one of the YouTubers that was just kind of starting out when I was as well. I think he's been doing it a little bit longer, but I watched his stuff and he used to do these like sort of on the go hunts for arcade cabinets. And I'm a huge fan of arcade stuff. So I used to watch that stuff. And that was like probably the main channel that I watched actually when I was first starting out here. So definitely be cool to and I haven't even told him that, but be cool to have him on here and just kind of talk. And we do a lot of like crossover content too, so I think it'll be fun. Saw the announcement on one of the guys' videos that was released earlier today. Oh, Vito. Yeah, so next week it's going to be Vito and Joe, two guys that do I was watching their live stream the other day. Really entertaining stuff. They're just, brand new to YouTube. So don't have a massive following, but really cool guys. And Joe actually put together, and what actually really made me want to sit down and talk with this guy, he made in a storage locker or storage, what do you call them? Storage, why am I blanking on this? I guess storage locker is the right term. He has like a storage space and he put together like an arcade within that. And it's powered by something like the portable battery charger thing that I just reviewed actually here on the channel a couple days ago. So I just thought that was so interesting and a little bit crazy. So we're going to talk about that. And I'll have a clip of that as well for next week to show you guys. I just have to like edit it a little bit because it's got Soundgarden in the background. And if I do that, then, copyright and all that stuff. So it should be pretty cool. Who are the guys from the group that you will bring on? So next week I'm bringing, this is Vito, who I think he commented earlier in this live chat here. He's a fireman, so I know he's working tonight, but Light Sun Gaming is the name of the channel. And if I can provide you guys with a link, I will do that. So he will be on with his buddy Joe next week. And again, they do some really great live streams, but I'm talking with a couple other people, and the other one is, let me see if I have his email here because I don't want to get his YouTube name incorrect. Just emailed him earlier today. Where is it? I know his name. I just don't want to, I don't know if he wants me to use his name and all that stuff. So I guess I'll hold back on that. But if there's any of you guys that want to join me in a future live stream, let me know. There's a contact page on my website. I will warn you guys, I'm a little bit slow on responding these days just because I'm getting a massive amount of emails every day, which is a good thing. I'm not complaining, but just giving you guys warning. Yes, so it's pinned up at the top of the live chat, I believe. If you just scroll up there, you should be able to see it, but I'll actually send it to you guys again here. Here it is in the, and you should be able to click this, but the other one I think just stays up there permanently, if I'm not mistaken. Have I reviewed that one on here? I'm not sure. That is one thing that I will say becomes an issue when I've reviewed so many things. They all kind of blend together to me. So I'm not sure if that one I have reviewed or not. But usually with like the plug and plays, if it's, do you know what it's using? Is it using like Batocera or Retrobat? Usually you can hit start in like one of your main menus and you can go down to the controller settings and go in and actually map it. Some things work plug and play, some things you have to manually go in and actually map all of the buttons. Usually once you do that in like the main menu though, it'll pull over to the individual emulators, so you shouldn't have to do it like collection by collection. So hopefully that helps. Yeah, Network Chuck, awesome guy. I met him in Dallas very, very briefly, but I've been following his channel for a number of years now. He's pretty massive. I don't know if he wants to bother with me, in all honesty, but I will. I do have him on my list to reach out. I think he's got like 3.5 million subscribers, so getting a direct line into him might be, a bit of a challenge, but I'm certainly going to try that. And James, 1992, thank you so much. I appreciate the support. I do want to make sure that I mention that. Really appreciate that, and that certainly does go a long way with helping me ship out the giveaway stuff and all that. So thank you so much. Retrobat. So yeah, you should be able to go in through the main menu, and because Retrobat and Batocera are very similar, should be able to go in the main menu and map your controller. So it could be that some of the games are pulling the correct inputs and stuff like that. But if you go through there, there should be like, I think it's like the second or third option down from the top. It's like controller settings or configure a controller, something like that. I forget off the top of my head, but should be able to find it in there. Kinhank X5. I will look into that then, for sure. I have a bunch of stuff I got to review. I'm always looking for new stuff, and I have a ton of stuff just sitting over here. I have a bunch of stuff that needs to get done next week. I have probably like 3 or 4 different handhelds I'm going to be reviewing from Ambernick, and they're like budget-friendly options, which I think are really cool. What else? I have another mini PC. I actually have a gaming laptop I'm going to review. I have, what else do we have? Right next to Brad over here, I have a bunch of stuff. Some monitors and stuff like that. So I don't know if all of those will be on YouTube. Some of those will just be for Amazon, but yeah, we got a bunch of stuff to do. And then I have a racing wheel here. I'm really looking forward to checking out the racing wheel because anybody that has Chris Coolmod's light gun setup, you may have noticed if you already have it or if you toured through my video where I walk through every single collection in there, there's tons of racing games and they're amazing racing games. So I have a wheel here. I actually have had one in the past, but this is like a little bit more high-end wheel that I definitely want to check out. And I got a little frame for it and everything. So I'm going to do that hopefully next week as well. I feel like everything is always next week. And then, when it comes time to do it, things take longer. Like I just reviewed, I wish it wasn't like 10 feet out of reach. Uh, the Crush controller, which I'll give you guys a link to it because it's really cool. And I'm going to have that video out tomorrow, probably tomorrow night. But this video I thought was going to take me like 15 minutes to film and review. And that's about how long the video actually is. But it took me like literally hours to actually comb through everything. So let me show you guys this. I'll give you guys a direct link here. Crush controller. But really cool and really customizable. There's excellent RGB lights built into this, so you can actually change the color of the buttons. You can change all the RGB lights throughout the entire thing. So I'm going to give you guys a link here just so you can click over and see what that looks like. This is going to be my next video coming out tomorrow night. So I just have to do the thumbnail for it, and then it's ready to go. It's all edited and all that. So Ernie, thank you so much for the support. Really appreciate that. That goes a long way, as I said before, with shipping out the giveaway stuff. So thank you so much. Really appreciate the support there. And everybody that's here in the live chat and in the live stream, really appreciate you guys because I wouldn't be doing this if you guys obviously weren't enjoying it with me. So always fun. So yeah, definitely check out that link. That's a cool controller. Again, I'll be reviewing that tomorrow evening, I think is when I'll release that. Works with PCs, works with the Nintendo Switch. Bunch of different, I think, Android devices it works with. Lots of good stuff. Not familiar with it. I don't have the hands-on experience to really say. And I try not to, you know, speculate on things. So I like to have that hands-on experience before I really comment on stuff. Um, let's see, Batocera version 38 retro shooter is amazing with the Sin and light gun. PS2, PS3, Wii, and others work great too. Yeah, one of the things I think is underrated is Wii light guns, and that's something that I never really got into when that console was like the current latest console. Got into that much later when I got into emulation, and yeah, it works super well. Best racing game in your opinion? Oh, I'm a big Forza guy, and that's more modern, obviously, but yeah, I jump into a lot of Forza lately too. I jump into Forza tomorrow for that review video on the controller, but Daytona USA probably for like retro stuff. The cruising games, I'm a huge fan of the cruising stuff. That's actually my first arcade game I ever played was Cruising USA. And then Cruising World, Cruising Exotica, all those. Rush was a good one too. Is it San Francisco 2049, something like that? That was a good one for retro stuff. What else? Dirt Devils. Anybody remember Dirt Devils? And then my buddy Jose was just telling me about one on Techno Parrot. He updated his Techno Parrot. I haven't done that yet. And he said he's got one that's like something. It sounded, he was showing me actually a video of him playing it. And it looks like basically like Dirt Devils just like turned up to 10. So I got to check that out. But yeah, what do you guys like for racing games? Retro or modern? And of course, Gran Turismo's good too. Just catching up on some of these comments. Sega Rally Championship. Yeah, that's a good one for sure. I do like Marvel vs. Capcom. I'm not good at it though. That's why I don't do a lot. I actually used to do a lot of demos when I was testing out like mini PCs and especially like Raspberry Pis and stuff because Marvel vs. Capcom 2 for Dreamcast is definitely a great game. I'm horrendous at that style of games though. I'm decent with Tekken, but like Mortal Kombat for some reason, Soul Calibur I'm not bad at, but Marvel vs. Capcom, Street Fighter, I'm just terrible. I don't know what it is about those specific ones. Just it's embarrassing. So I'm a fan, but it's not a fan of me and my abilities. Mario, there's that Mario Kart for Techno Parrot too. That's really good. Now, I've actually played it in the arcade. I haven't played it through Techno Parrot, but I hear good things. So I got to do that. This dog is Brad, Mr. Snooze a lot back there. Typical lab, sleeps all day and night. He does get crazy though, and then whenever we're cooking too, he's ready to go, stealing food off the counters and the stove and out of the sink. That's his favorite. But he did plenty of that earlier, so now he's resting. Right, Brad? He's like, don't even look at me. Thanks for the help with copying of ROMs to Batocera. Still building the drive. 18 terabytes. That's massive. That's awesome. Is it one of those like freestanding 18 terabyte ones? I actually have one of those. The black. I don't know if that's what you're using, but they're black 18 terabyte, like freestanding. They have their own cooling and stuff like that. Is it one of those that you're using? Those are pretty sweet. What's the lowest I can get away with to play PS2, N64, Wii, and Switch? I have a GTX 1080. Let me see. Take a look at the GTX 1080. I mean, that'll certainly do it for you. I'm pretty sure. I don't know if I've used mine. Is what do I have in here? I forget. It's beyond that one, but it is a GeForce GTX. But I think it's one of the. No, that'll definitely more than do what you need to do there. I mean, you can go with for all those, honestly, like a mini PC that's like $150 would get you through the majority of those. Maybe some shortcomings with Switch and Wii can be funny with certain things. The majority of the games I've found to work pretty well, but sometimes you'll get like one that just like gets really laggy. So that one could be a little bit funny. Same thing with GameCube. I know you didn't mention that, but it uses the same emulator. So, I mean, you should be in pretty good hands there with what you have. Daytona is definitely a great one. Stunt Car Racer on the Amiga, that's good. Outrun. And the newer Outrun, what is that? I'm blanking on names tonight. I just played that when I was out in Vegas at the Pinball Hall of Fame. The later Outrun game, really great too, and that's on the Chris Cool mod setup too. Forza, all the Forzas are good. Burnout Revenge is good. Yeah, Outrun seems to be a favorite here. Daytona, of course. Excite Bike. There you go. Need for Speed. All the Need for Speeds are pretty decent. Road Rash. Good stuff. Lotus was a good one too. You're right. That is a good one. That's not one that most people remember or mention, but definitely a good game. That is definitely OG right there. Ridge Racer's good. I tested out a lot of the Ridge Racer stuff for like PS3 too. You got to be good at drifting, of course, but Road Rash, that can be a challenging one. I'm all over the road with that one, but still a good game. Light Sun Gaming, there we go. I mentioned you earlier. So he's going to be on next week with his buddy Joe, and they do some really great live stream stuff. And he's the one I was talking about. His buddy set up the arcade in his storage locker. So we're going to be talking about that, and I'll show you guys around that a little bit too from his video, just so you see exactly what I see and what I'm talking about. I believe you can. I haven't done it personally, but yeah, I believe that's possible. Definitely a peaceful sleeper over there. To each their own. Yeah, I mean, I think that I jump into more of the older stuff myself too. Dreamcast is a big one for me. PS2 is good too. Um, Xbox original, but I mean, you have a lot of crossover between Xbox original and PS2, and PS2 is going to emulate so much better. So, yeah, he's snoozing today. Usually he takes off for these live streams whenever I get started. He must know what's going to happen. I sit down and get ready to prep, and he usually bolts up the stairs. But yeah, he didn't want to budge today, so he's doing his thing. I'm doing my thing. What console is your favorite? Great question. Dreamcast has always been one that I think was just so I don't want to say overrated, not overrated. Underestimated, and no, I don't know, just at the time nobody really seemed to care about it, and now it's like got this cult following. Everybody loves Dreamcast. I just wish it happened back then because maybe we would still have something. But yeah, I love Dreamcast. Just so many games. I think graphically they were so much better than the alternative options. Like, I'm a huge Gauntlet Legends fan. I'm sure people are sick of me talking about that game. But if you compare that, it was obviously a arcade game, but then it was ported to Dreamcast and 64 as well as PlayStation. If you look at the gameplays of that game side by side, Dreamcast is just light years ahead of PlayStation and N64. And I think most of the games that were available on, all three of those, they just look so much better and they play so much better on Dreamcast. So that's always been my favorite. I like original Xbox. I like PS2. PS2 is probably, if you had to compare libraries of games, that's probably the best for that time period. What else? I mean, N64 is good, but I was never really big on N64 mainly because of the controller when I was a kid. There's some great games there for sure. For me, it's the wrestling games for N64 that are the major win, and then the cruising games as well, because that was the only place that you could play the cruising games other than the arcade. Cruising USA, there we go. And that's the one I was talking about, Outrun 2006. And then there's another one too. All right, I'm going to jump down here. So if anybody If anybody asked me questions and I didn't respond, just ask them again. I'm just kind of trying to keep up with the current comments here coming in. Ready to Rumble is a good one. That is an awesome game. And I was thinking I want to do some live streams where I actually play games too. I know a lot of people have asked for that. So at this point, I'm just trying to get these different projects and videos that I want to do done. And then I'm going to kind of, I don't know, get myself together here. And I want to do some live stream stuff, a little bit more than just this. Love this. Don't get me wrong, but I definitely want to do some more, like maybe just like pick a couple of games and dive into them and still do the live chat stuff too. So not in place of the Friday night live stream that everybody loves, but maybe something in addition to, maybe not scheduled like every week or anything because my schedule is kind of crazy, but would like to add that into the mix a little bit here and there. Wave Race on N64 is a good one. I do play that one actually quite often. And then they have the other one for GameCube that's pretty sweet too. That is awesome. I've actually watched a few videos of people doing that. Just catching up on these, sorry. Cody Rhodes finished the story. I'm a big Cody Rhodes fan. I used to watch him when he, went on the indies and stuff. A lot of like the indie matches were actually out by where I live. So I actually went to two of the ones that I think he wrestled Kurt Angle 3 times. I was at two of those matches. So saw him a lot on the indies. Saw him wrestle like Bobby Fish and Warbeard Hansen, who's now, I forget his name now, with WWE, but the big chubby bearded guy. Really good though. I saw him wrestle, I think, Rey Mysterio once. He did a lot of stuff on the indies, just kind of rebuilding himself, and obviously it worked. I mean, he's the top guy now by a long shot. Of course, Roman Reigns is, certainly above him at this point, but not for long, I don't think. Been playing the old Indiana Jones games using Scum. Yes, I love the what is it? Fate of Atlantis. I grew up playing that a lot and that's in Scum VM's emulator as well. Yeah, you're going back even further there. Lots of good stuff there for Indiana Jones games. Have you guys seen the previews for the new Indiana Jones game? That looks pretty cool. Definitely looks pretty cool. Just reading this. I don't know if you remember last stream. I was asking you about Botticer for Wii U. I got it working. Got Mario Kart. Oh, there we go. Sorry, when the new ones come in, it kicks the previous comments up higher for me, so I have to go track them down again. Here it is. Okay. Got it working. Got Mario Kart and the Wind. Oh, good. Glad that worked out for you. Yeah, Wii U can be a pain in the ass, honestly. Depends on what version you have, too, but yeah, it can definitely be tough. And some games work better than others, I've found, too. Of course, it depends on what you're using, but definitely a lot of things to consider there. Been to a few indies. Yeah, so I never went to ECW, so I'm jealous of you there. That seems like that would be a totally different vibe, unlike anything else, too. I wish I saw like ECW, WCW back in the day. I saw some WWE live back then, but not in the heyday. But yeah, indie stuff. I feel like it's dying down now because there's so much mainstream wrestling on now. You have your AEW, which has scooped up like all the guys that I used to watch indie wrestling are either now in NXT or on the main roster at WWE or in AEW. So I feel like it just like picked everybody out of the indies, and I don't know really what's left at this point. That would be fun. I would definitely be into that. And I know a lot of it's funny. I was asking a buddy of mine the other day, why is it that so many gamers are wrestling fans? Do you guys have a take on that? I think part of it is that wrestling games have been so prominent over the years. I mean, going back to even the 80s, and WrestleFest was what, 1990, so it's as old as I am. That is an amazing game. And I was just playing that in a video 2-3 days ago. I'm always diving into WrestleFest. I actually thought about modding. There I go, pointing the wrong way again. Modding this cabinet to WrestleFest, but I'm not crazy about the art on WrestleFest. Yeah, I would definitely get back to it. I had a Dreamcast not too long ago, and then it started acting up, so I got rid of it. And that was right around when I was diving into more emulation stuff. And Dreamcast emulates so perfect that you can have all your games right there. There you go. Totally agree. Yeah, AEW is tough though. Like for me, I was really into it when they first launched. I was at the second show their second televised show in right outside Boston. I actually think it was in technically in Boston, and I was just really into everything that they had going on. And then when they started adding more shows, it just got to like it was harder for me to tune in. And then if you missed stuff, it was just harder to keep up on everything. So I kind of fell off with it. But I have been following it more over the last couple of weeks, and yeah. It's it's PC and Xbox, but I heard rumblings that maybe it was going to end up actually going to PlayStation as well. But as of right now, I think they've said that it's Xbox exclusive, but yeah, I guess there's talks of that changing. So we shall see. That dog reel in the background. He is, and he's actually alive too, but he's just not moving at all. He's pretty much zonked out after stealing. There you go. There's proof that he's alive. He moved a little bit. Yeah, he usually isn't here for live streams. He usually takes off, but he didn't want to budge today, so let him hang out there. And usually that couch is in front of my little desk that I'm at right now, but I've got everything moved around because I've been working on the Indiana Jones cabinet back there, and then also the T2, which is dismantled right over here. So hopefully that'll all get situated in the next couple of days. Yeah, I was front row for the cage one. We probably are. Yeah, I was front row for that match. And I've seen like I watched the Cody documentary on Peacock, and you can't really see me because everybody like stood up for like the high spot that they showed where he did the moonsault off of the cage, but I'm like literally right below where Cody did that. Yeah, so Connecticut, yep. And then I was at the first one they did in New York too. That was like right over the Connecticut New York line. Yeah, so oh, hit the mute there. Yeah, so I am a big fan of what he puts together. I think what he does is really nicely put together in that there's not a lot of duplicates. It's easy to navigate. Doesn't mean that it's plug and play. So you do have to have his stuff is high end, so you do have to have like a really powerful PC. It's not really like your old school retro stuff. It's pretty much everything through like modern day stuff as well. So you do need to have a pretty beefy PC for them. Just fair warning there. And there's a lot going on, so I do think that it can be taxing on your PC. But yeah, I mean, it is a really clean setup, very easy to use for the most part. I have found that the light gun one can be a little bit touchy just because there's so much going on in there, and especially with like Techno Parrot, just bringing that into the mix. For me, it's brand new to me too, so I'm used to emulation, but Techno Parrot was new to me, so I have had like a learning curve trying to figure out that. It can be a little bit touchy sometimes. It's not a knock on Chris Coolmont. It's just everything that he has, included in there. It's a lot to kind of take on. So, not to give you a roundabout answer, but yes, it probably is the best. There's a lot of other ones out there, and I've reviewed tons of them. A lot of the game drives are just loaded with duplicates. There is always the concern for viruses and stuff like that, of course. I've never experienced that firsthand. I've always scanned everything that I get. But some people have said that they have found viruses, so that's something you have to be, aware of, and always scan everything that you get and connect to your PC just to, try to at least minimize risk there. But yeah, there's lots of options. It just, at the end of the day, it depends on what you're looking for and what you find that lines up with your needs and what experience you're looking to have, because some people are just looking for that old school stuff. So they don't care if there's, PS2 on there, or there's original Xbox, or there's Wii U, stuff like that. So everybody's different. And, I think you're going to obviously gravitate towards whatever your interests are. So unfortunately, sometimes that means combing through these massive video tours that YouTubers like myself put together. And, I guess he's done with me. That'll give you an idea as to what each setup out there has to offer. Live wrestling, it's like watching live sports. I mean, it's a very different experience in person. You don't have like for me, like wrestling is big on having the commentary. Like if you watch Raw and SmackDown, that's a big part of the experience. But when you go there live and you're actually at a live event, you don't have that. So that's kind of like the biggest difference, I think, that most people probably don't think of right off the bat. You don't hear any of that. It's just like basically a silent match in front of you, even though it's live on TV. So it's an interesting difference, I'd say. ECW was awesome. I went to several times to Hammerstein Ballroom, several other venues. They were all small, but well worth the admission and time. Hammerstein Ballroom is an awesome place. I've never been there for a wrestling show, but been there for concerts, and always a good vibe in there. And that's where they did when they relaunched ECW, that's where they had like the one night stand and stuff like that. And I know, I think AEW's done it, but what was Ring of Honor did a lot of stuff out of there too. Yenny, get well soon. Hope you're doing well. Wish you the best. Hope you're recovering. Stay positive too. Been a gamer all my life. Don't really care for wrestling, but some of my favorite games have been wrestling games. And I think that's what brings people to wrestling too sometimes. I mean, for me now, if I were to, and I don't play the modern day wrestling games, typically I don't. That would be a great way to get into like who's, current, who's on the rosters and stuff like that. So like my stepson, he doesn't watch it so much, but he plays the game. So he knows who everybody is better than I do, but doesn't actually watch it. So yeah, it's interesting how you can kind of get into it one way or another. Halo Season 2 is much better than Season 1. Steven Spielberg is one of the producers. I have not watched Season 2 yet. I've been meaning to, but I want to go back and watch Season 1. I found Season 1 to be a little bit slow, and then I actually did get into it more at the end. I'm huge into Halo, and there's definitely differences, obviously, as there's going to be with anything that gets made into a movie or a TV show from a game. So it was a little bit, tough for me to get into it and, knowing the differences right off the bat. But, yeah, I think you have to just take it for what it is. And then, I did end up liking it more and more the more it went. Pro wrestling on NES is a classic. Definitely agree with you there. Just bear with me here. Sorry. Let's see. Audio and video aren't matching. They are on my end, but sometimes YouTube will do that. I noticed that actually in my last video, the way that I filmed it, there were a couple little times where it kind of dipped out of sync there. So hopefully this is matching up now, or it will momentarily. Bear with me though. Definitely is. I feel like some people don't want to admit that they like wrestling. But it's always been one of those things. It's like, I don't know if it's a nerdy thing to like, but there's definitely like times in my life where I was like, don't want to highlight that I was a wrestling fan, but now I could care less. I mean, I was just watching the Ric Flair 30 for 30s on Netflix now, so I was just watching that the other day, and could care less. Who knows what I'm into? Obviously, I'm on YouTube with 204 of you guys right now saying it, so just catching up on these. So if anybody, and I always say this, if anybody, asks me a question, I didn't respond, I'm not trying to dodge anybody, just ask it again, because sometimes this thing jumps me all over here. Big fan of Cody and Dusty. Ric Flair is probably my favorite, so Dusty and Ric Flair, Harley Race, that whole era is something that I always go back to and watch the old stuff. Um, and I mean, I wasn't even alive when all that stuff was happening, but love that era of wrestling. Superstar Billy Graham, all that good stuff. Grew up a huge Hulk Hogan fan, but I think most people with Hulk Hogan, as you get older, you see that he was pretty much doing the same thing over and over again for several decades. Not knocking him, I mean, it worked, and obviously it worked in a big way. But when you dive into it further, I think you get into like more of the other wrestlers out there. Totally agree with you right there. Yes, and I've been diving into that more and more, just trying to like tweak things and make little improvements, and it's just like touchy too. And sometimes I'll hit like the wrong button on my keyboard and it'll throw everything off, or I'll like minimize a window and I have to go track down where the hell did the window minimize to. So yeah, it can be tough to navigate there. Appreciate you, James. Thank you so much. Certainly helps. How can I fix some of the lag for Wii U? About Sarah, any tips? God. You can go into the emulator. I'm not sure if I've done that personally, so I can't really tell you like step by step off the top of my head. But um, yeah, you can. It's different on different versions too. Sometimes, like I've had lag on some games with using it with certain PCs, and then other ones it works perfect. So it could come down to what you're using. Maybe it's just not powerful enough. If you don't mind telling me what you're using, I can maybe speculate further. But I don't know if I have the firsthand knowledge on that. I haven't done much with Wii U in terms of altering settings and stuff like that. Going to buy a cheap HP Elite test for emulation, which is best 800G3 or 705 with Ryzen 5. Both are good options. I've used the 800G3. I think is that the cheaper one? Um, it's good. What are you trying to get into though? Like what collections or emulators are you hoping to use with that? Let me know. I have the RG35XXH right over there. I'm going to be reviewing that hopefully next week, actually. So, yeah, I've been just trying to play catch up with a lot of stuff here. That was an idea, and I do have more space behind me, so that might end up happening. I've met some really cool people, and I'll be shouting out a few different people that have done graphics for me because even the T2 one, I'm not swapping out graphics, but I did get, and I don't know if you guys can, which way am I going to go? There we go. You guys see it? It's yeah, the little thing is blocking it there, but I did swap out the graphic on the front there, so it used to just say like T2. Now it has Arnold Schwarzenegger and the Terminator, without the skin and all that stuff as the front graphic. So I have three different people I've used for graphics for the two different cabinets back there, and they make some amazing stuff, and they have some wrestling ones too. So I'm really tempted to get another arcade one up and mod it purely for the fact that I want to put some cool graphics on there. And I'm really happy with how the Indiana Jones one came out. So yeah, don't tempt me. I might end up doing that. That's pretty cool. I saw Jerry wrestle Brooklyn Brawler actually at the event that it opened for Cody versus Kurt Angle. This is going back like maybe 2016, early 2016. So yeah, I don't think Jerry's doing it now, but he was wrestling up until very recently. And I went to Elimination Chamber. This was probably 2018 or so. And I sat right in front of Cody, and I forget who was, not Cody, Corey, and I forget who else was on commentary. Maybe Michael Cole at that one. I was actually a guest of Corey Graves. I used to know his family, so they used to live not far from me. So that was fun. I went out to Vegas and happened to be there the week that they were there for Elimination Chamber. So got to sit like right next to them, and it was cool. Sorry, just catching up on these. No, giveaway didn't happen yet. It's coming up though. So here is the link for that, and it should be pinned at the top there. But let me actually refresh this because it's been up for about 50 minutes now, or maybe an hour. Wow, 620 entries. Wow, we don't even have that many people in here. All right, so there it is right there. You can click over. Thank you so much for the support. Really appreciate that. No problem. Always happy to answer any questions that I possibly can here. And you guys know the deal. I'm always playing catch up with the comments as they come in here. So if you know, didn't have your question answered, just ask it again. Don't feel like you're annoying me. I probably just didn't see it. Yeah, it's funny that that's how it panned out, and I couldn't be happier because yeah, always been a wrestling fan, mostly classic wrestling, but I do stay current on what's going on now. I'm bummed out that what's at 5 a.m. tomorrow, at least where I am for Elimination Chamber. So I'll have to catch that on the rebound, I guess. But we also have I don't know if there's any other UFC or MMA fans here, but I'm huge into MMA. And tomorrow is PFL versus Bellator, then UFC at night, so at the nighttime. So yeah, I'm gonna be busy tomorrow, catching up on everything. Yes, both. Yes, I couldn't agree more with that right there. 100%. And I actually like, I was talking about Gears of War with somebody the other day, and I like I forget what it is. It's like Judgment Day or something like that. Um, the prequel for that is really good too, and nobody really talks about that. Maybe I'm the only one that likes it, but definitely like prequel games are pretty cool, or ones that kind of follow like a different path, or so to speak. There you go. Yeah, I just like that era of wrestling and games too, for that matter. That is well said. Very different. Yep. Cheesecake goes back to when we had Heck and Steve on. I got to bring Steve back on too. I don't want to bother him because he's got a lot going on with his channel these days too. But I just talked to him the other day. Nature Boy. He's with AEW now too. They got a deal with him though because I believe it was like I was reading about this recently, and I know that Eric Bischoff said that when he got Macho Man to sign with WCW, his um his contract was basically paid for by Slim Jim. So I believe it's the same thing now with Woo Energy is basically paying Ric Flair for AEW, which is pretty cool. 9:15 is when the giveaway will end. So it ticks down. We got 21 minutes and 15 seconds to be exact, and then I'll announce the winner for that. Roddy Piper, another good one, especially on the mic. He really didn't give a damn. Say whatever he wanted. Bought the GMK TAC Mini i7, 5 gigahertz from the Amazon President's Day sale. Do you know what system? I mean, 5 gigahertz is pretty significant. i7. Do you have? I can look it up. Hold on. Give me 1 second. I don't think I reviewed that exact one. Just want to see like the processor stuff on that. But I mean, it should be able to get you through PS2 easily. Dreamcast, obviously, N64, all that stuff should be a breeze. Nintendo Switch, I would think, would be pretty easy for that as well. PS3, probably not. PS3 is like, I don't know. That one definitely throws you for a loop sometimes. But let me see if I could just pull it up by GMK Tech i7. Sorry, this thing throws me off here. Why is it not coming up? All right, I think I have it here. Is it the Ryzen 7 one? This one says 4.7 gigahertz. That might not be the one. Oh, you have the turbo one. Okay. Actually, I take that back. You probably would be at 16 gigabytes DDR4. So you should be able to get into PS3 with that. I would give it all a go, honestly. And that's, I mean, PS3 is a pain in the ass just in the emulator itself. But yeah, I would definitely push it as far as you can. Give it all a try. But yeah, PS3 you should be able to get into at least, I would say, the majority of PS3 that can run with the emulator. There's a website that'll tell you what games work and what games don't work. It'll also tell you the settings adjustments you have to make, because some people get confused with that. They'll dive into a game with the PS3 emulator and it'll be a crappy experience and they think it's like a shortcoming of the PC. But there's custom settings for each of the games that you have to go through. It's a tedious process. It, in all honesty, absolutely sucks to have to do that. But in the end, you can get some games running pretty well by just altering the slightest things. So give it a try. Everything else, that Wii U will work with that. PS2, like I said, original Xbox, similar to PS3 in that the emulator has limitations. So not every game is going to work, but yeah, push it to the max and see what you can get out of it. And I'm going to make a note of that one because I don't think that I have reviewed that one. I've tested out some of the that brand's mini PCs, but I don't think that one. They do blend together for me, so if I have, then I apologize, but I don't think so. George the Animal Steel, yes, love him eating the pads in the corner of the ring. Not really a car guy. I actually like NASCAR games, but I never really got into actually watching it. I do like cars and I do like racing games, but never, followed it closely. Different time. I just took my kids to like a jump park last weekend and they had some arcade games there. And they're like over $1 to get into now. They had some of the Raw Thrill ones there, which are games that you can get into through Technoparrot now. So that was pretty cool. I actually did a short video of my daughter riding the Raw Thrills motorcycle at the arcade. Old enough that was there for the Rise of the Four Horsemen. You're talking about the original Four Horsemen too. That's awesome. Sting, Road Warriors. Yeah, that's the era that I love the most. But yeah, the Four Horsemen. I mean, that's the best lineup right there. But then they did like the Chris Benoit, Dean Malenko version much later on. That obviously was not the same. Ricky the Dragon Steamboat. Probably one of my favorite matches is him and Macho Man from, what was that, WrestleMania 3? You could smoke in the mall then. You certainly could. Mean Gene. Rest in peace. Canyon was underrated for sure. Arn is one of the Spine Buster and Gourd Buster. Love that. Huge fan of Arn Anderson. Even now, have you seen him do the Spine Buster? He'll come in and throw that in there every now and then. Remember when he did it to Dolph Ziggler a couple years ago? He's still got something there. Razor Ramon's good. So yeah, a lot of wrestling fans in here. I like it. I was a huge fan of Hulk Hogan myself. In fact, I have a signed Hollywood Hogan over there on the other side of my room. Picture on the wall. I met him when I was like, must have been like 11 years old. Really nice. Do remember that. It is definitely viewed as a guilty pleasure. Some people have a perception that if you like pro wrestling, then you think it's all real and you're dumb. Yeah, I agree. And it's, I mean, there's no mistaking that it's demanding on their bodies and all of that stuff. And yeah, I mean, I don't think anybody these days is thinking that it's real, but it's still entertainment. I mean, none of the games that we're playing here, with emulation or anything is real, but it's still fun and entertaining. Undertaker and Stone Cold for sure. Stone Cold for me is definitely at the top. Yes, it does. 100%. You need the Mayflash Dolphin bar. You need original Wii remotes. You can actually, let me take that back. You can actually get into it with other light guns too, but if you want like the true experience, get a original Wii remote, the Mayflash Dolphin mode, switch it over to mode 4. I actually have a full video on how to do all this, but you can use all the original like attachments, nunchucks, all that stuff with the Mayflash Dolphin bar, and it will emulate exactly as it would, or exactly as the games would be on the original, hardware. So that's why I love Wii emulation. It's like 100% on point. That's pretty cool. He seemed like a crazy guy for sure. Always liked him though. I mean, got some controversy around him for sure, but he was definitely in ring one of the best at the time. Perfect setup for PCs. I mean, it depends on what you're looking for. My perfect and somebody else's could be completely different. So I use an HP Pavilion gaming PC. I don't have like something super high end. Just because it does everything that I want it to. And then for like modern day stuff, I use my Xbox Series X now is what I have. I had the S up until recently. I just got the X because actually do a lot of Fortnite short content here on the channel. And I know it's very different than my long form content, but I mean, I have a decent following of people that watch just that and don't watch any of my long form content. So it's weird. I have a lot of different stuff going on, but I got that because you can actually capture much better with the Series X. So yeah, I use that for modern day gaming and really I've always enjoyed Xbox. And I'm more, I guess, for the last, I mean, I got the original Xbox. I didn't get every single PlayStation. So I didn't get PS3. I mean, I have since then. I've gone back and gotten one secondhand and all that. But when it first came out, I didn't have PS3, didn't have PS4, PS5. My stepson has, so I have experience with that. But I've always been an Xbox guy. Did have the PS2 though. Just one giveaway tonight, and that's coming up in about 10 minutes. Let me check the count on that. 12 minutes and 11 seconds. And that's for this mini PC right here. So 687 entries in there. 12 minutes left. Have you recently updated Botacera? Or are you starting fresh? Then yeah, you would need BIOS for, like, if you're going from like 37 Botacera 37 to 38, there are some BIOS updates that you have to do. The majority of them will work. Like if you're going 37 to 38, the majority will be fine. But there are some for like GameCube. I think PS2 has one or two BIOS updates, and then there's some other collections as well. So yeah, every update you typically will have to update your BIOS files, but yeah, again, it's not every single one that has to be updated. So you may find that certain collections aren't performing well because of that. So yeah, definitely check your BIOS. And you could do a BIOS check on Botacera too on your main menu. If you scroll down, there is an option. I forget exactly where it is off the top of my head, but you can go in there and check for it. Have you tried? I always don't know how to say that. I'm gonna call it Ryujinx. Yes, I have. Wondering if you can make a video if you did as an alternate since Yuzu can be laggy and wanted to compare. I haven't had a great experience with it, in all honesty. The majority of them I'll use Yuzu, but I find that like Japanese releases work better with the Ryujinx one. I'll try to do a video, yeah. Is that Steamboat Willie on a skateboard? Yeah, it's so that's what's the guy's name? It's a designer that made that. And I'm gonna get it wrong. I always say it backwards, so I'm just going to. Is it Trevor Andrew? Who's actually a pro snowboarder. Yeah, Trevor Andrew is a designer. He does stuff for like Gucci, and he did that skate deck there. He did like a collaboration with a bunch of Disney stuff. So it's I think it's technically Mickey Mouse, but yeah, it's got that old school Steamboat Willie sort of vibe to it. It might even be. I think it's just supposed to look like the old school stuff because that would have been prior to. I think Donald Duck and Goofy weren't. in the mix back then. Just catching up here. I love how I feel like we always end up with like themes in each of these without ever. And I was actually talking about this a little bit with people that I've been talking about bringing on to these live streams with me. And starting next week, we will have some guests. And people ask, like, do you have like a topic that you want to keep to? No, I just let it rip and things kind of fall where they fall. But with every single live stream, there's always been like a underlying theme that we just kind of circle back to. And this one seems to be wrestling. When we had Heck and Steve on, it was cheesecake, which was a random one. But I like the off the cuff sort of vibe that we have here, where we just let it take us where it takes us here. Gorilla Monsoon jumps off of that. I'm just reading it now, but that's what my eyes just locked on Gorilla Monsoon. That's awesome to have that memory and to be going to those like that. The Sheik was a good one for sure. I don't know all of those, but a little bit before my time to say the least. But Gorilla Monsoon for sure. I mean, but I knew him as a commentator. Oh, awesome. Yeah, I love that one. There's a bunch of them on there too. I think I got lucky finding that one because there's some that just don't look that great. And I don't know how yours came, but mine came like perfectly sanded. I did spray it just to give it like more of a chrome sort of. And I can't wait to bring that back over and put that back on this once I get it back together. But yeah, it just came together really nicely. So that totally changed everything when he did that. Khabib rules, and I'm way behind, I think, with these. But RC, what's going on? Thank you so much. Appreciate that. Hope you're well. What's our count for opening day? It's coming quick. I did see that. Unfortunately. I'm not. I honestly don't really hate Jake Paul. I know he gets hate from everybody. He's doing what he's supposed to be doing, you know. So I don't get mad at the whole he's a fake boxer and all that stuff. It's like it doesn't faze me the least bit. He's drawing money, he's entertaining people, and he's making people talk about him. So yeah, I don't get worked up about it personally. I'm so far behind in these comments. I'm sorry, guys. I didn't realize it was that far behind. Oh man, that's a tough one. You know what? I didn't think he was going to pull it off last weekend. I will say that. I thought that I kind of had a feeling that I've been saying this for a while that um, Volk is on his way out or just not at the highest level that he once was. So I wasn't really surprised, but I didn't think that he was going to pull that off. I'm a fan of O'Malley. I was there when he won the title, a couple rows back from the octagon, and I couldn't have been happier for him. I like him. I thought that he was a little overrated. I still think he is to some extent, but I don't know. I mean, the whole thing is if he touches you, he can put you out, and same with Tapuria too. But technical, yeah, I'd probably lean the way that you're leaning there, probably. But I do like Sean O'Malley a lot. All right, I'm going to jump ahead and catch up because I'm clearly way behind on these. But let me know if you guys asked me a question and I didn't respond. "34 days to opening day." Nice. It's coming quick. Thank you. Yeah, so I'm in Connecticut, so that's our claim to fame from way back. I agree, he's not. But I will also agree that he is making sure that he picks people that he has, a good shot of beating. And the one that he lost, who was he? Fury. That could have gone either way. I mean, it was a split decision, right? I actually thought that he won that one personally. And I think I bet on him and he didn't win. So I wanted him to win that one. But yeah, Yeah, it was split decision, and it was close. So anytime you leave it up to the judges, though, especially in UFC and MMA in general, um, more so than boxing. But boxing's, I mean, it can be pretty controversial with the decisions too. I did watch Carl Malone wrestle Dennis Rodman. I did, and I'm a big Dennis Rodman fan. I've actually talked to Dennis a few times. Never met him in person, but have talked to him over the phone, and he's actually one of the nicest guys in my opinion. The Whalers fan does like the Bruins. I don't know if I'm necessarily, the Whalers were a little bit before my time. I mean, I was alive when they were here, but I wasn't going to games. But I am a Bruins fan, and with hockey, I'm weird. I like hockey in general, so I'm a Bruins fan. I was probably a Bruins fan the majority of the time. I do like the Rangers too a little bit, not so much these days, but like when Yager was playing, I was a big Rangers fan then. I jump around though, and I also like the Knights. I've liked the Knights since they became a team though, not just because they are now just won recently, but oh man, I don't even remember. I don't even know. You know what? I didn't create wrestlers on that one. I created wrestlers on Legends of Wrestling. That was my game for creating. Thank you so much, Rizzo529. Really appreciate that. And is the, let's see. I believe so. I believe it is, but I would have to look at that. Send me a message on my website and just remind me, and I'll take a look at the different specs for you. But I believe that is true. Um, Vega 8, yeah, it should be faster than the Vega 8 graphics. But I would have to look at them kind of side by side and refresh a little bit there. Solid question from Lights on Gaming here. And I've heard good things about that. Here, I'm in Connecticut and I'm not far from there, and I did not attend yet. So I do plan to go this year, though. Yeah, the Knights have been getting murdered this week, though. What did they just lose to? Who was it yesterday? So the Leafs yesterday, or was that the day before? They lost both games, though. Yeah, they've been having a tough week. LA Knight, definitely like LA Knight. And did we, let me see, we got 2 minutes left on this? Just under 2 minutes left. So let me give you guys the link again. If you didn't get your entries in, get them in right now because we're going to do the winner in a couple minutes here. What was LA Knight in TNA? What was his name? Because that was like when I was watching TNA, I just kind of fizzled out with it when he was heading out the door. Star Wars. That's an easy one. I've never been. My dad watched Star Trek a lot when I was growing up, and I don't know. Eli Drake. That's what it is. There we go. I was gonna say that. I don't know. I was getting confused with the game. I'm blanking on everything today. Clearly need more sleep. Looking into a mini PC around $300. Which would you choose to play? Up to Switch or AAA titles? $300 is tough. With you have to go like a little bit over $300. B-Link would be my go-to. I love B-Link. That's my favorite brand for mini PCs. I think they just are the most consistent. They don't have there's nothing controversial about them. Like some of the other stuff, we've had data breaches and stuff like that with. So, that definitely goes a long way that B-Link has never, had any controversy or anything like that. I think they put together really great stuff. So you can get some like a B-Link Surf 5. I don't know what those are going for these days. Let me just look that up because whenever B-Link has new stuff come out, the older stuff rather will start to drop in price significantly. So let's see what B-Link has here. I know we saw some when during the President's Day sale, and I kind of combed through some of that stuff last week. All right, so yeah, the Surf 5 is 319, so that's not far off. That speeds it up to 4 gigahertz. So you're not going to, I don't want to say that you're not going to be able to get into PS3, but you're probably going to have some issues with PS3 there. Yeah, 6 cores, 12 threads. Yeah, you're going to have some issues with PS3. But what were you looking for here? Switch. You shouldn't have problems with Switch, and you would be able to get into some AAA titles there, but yeah, you're going to probably have some shortcomings there, depending on how deep you try to go. Trying to see what else B-Link has though. They have the SEI 12. What's that got? 8 cores, 12 threads, and that's only $10 more. It's an i5. Yeah, I would look through the B-Links closer and see if there's anything like. They have one for $429. That's kind of a big jump. Keep an eye out for sales though, because whenever there's like a sale on Amazon, B-Link usually is taking part in that. And some of them, as people have mentioned in the past when I did that video combing through the sales, sometimes the sale prices really aren't a great deal. But with B-Link, I do find that they typically do have significant discounts. So definitely take a look at those. If you're not in a rush, you can kind of, wait on the sidelines a little bit and take advantage of one of those sales. It just ended, yes. So let's go ahead and let me jump in here. So 742 total entries, and you do get multiple entries there if you go through those couple different ways of entering. So let's see what we've got. Bear with me here. I have to go into. I have this as a sweep widget through my website as like a little plugin. So just have to refresh this. All right, so we are going to draw one random winner. All right, here we go. And the winner of the Kodlix GD70 mini PC is William Marquez. And I've got your. Sweet, you're in the United States. That's always a bonus for me because I've gotten the last few times. Actually, the last couple have been US, but for like 3 weeks in a row, it was like Australia and Canada. So definitely good to have a US winner here, but congratulations there. I'm going to make sure I got the email down. Perfect. I did have one actually that was, I had to kind of guess the email, so that is good, but congrats to Will there. Will Marquez. Sweet. Yeah, I had one person win a couple weeks ago, and I realized as soon as I copied the email, I was like, damn it, I can tell it's missing something from it. So I actually guessed and got it right, but perfect. All right, sweet. Here we go. I was looking for your some people were asking me who I was talking to about bringing on. So Marvelous XD1 and I are going to pick a date, and he might have emailed me already. I gotta check my emails, but he's gonna come on and do one of these live streams with me. So he's got a great channel. I was actually watching one of your videos earlier today. We've been talking about wrestling tonight, and I was just talking about how there's always like an underlying theme to these live streams. I was watching your was it No Mercy or WrestleMania 2000, one of your wrestling gameplays earlier today, actually. So he's got some great content on his channel as well. So I'm looking forward to that. Can I pin you? Yeah, we don't need the link up there at the top anymore, so I can. Oh, it's not letting me. I can star it, but why is it? Oh, because I'm over here on StreamYard. I have to jump over here to. I'll just give you guys the direct link, honestly. If I can find you here. Or you can give me a direct link to your channel. And James, thank you so much. You've been super supportive. I really appreciate that. Thank you so much. It certainly goes a long way. Well, the goal here is to have everybody here, but that's the challenge when you do 2 hours. And I had a bunch of people actually reach out and be kind of pissed off that I was doing it just for those that are here in the live. And I don't have anything against people that watch, because a lot of people do watch this after we're already done with the live portion. So next week I will have some giveaways that will be available for everybody to enter to win all week, and you don't have to actually be here. But yeah, I figured we get people that kind of jump in here, grab the link, and then disappear. But it is what it is. A lot of people do come back and watch it after the fact. The majority of the views do come in afterwards, and there's a lot of viewers from other parts of the world. So I get it. I don't take offense to it by any means. How often do you do giveaways? So last week was the first Friday that I haven't done a giveaway. So I do it every Friday, typically. Last week I just got super busy. There we go. And just didn't get to it. So no mercy. That's what it was. So yeah, typically every Friday I'll do at least one giveaway. I've actually been doing 3 for most of the Fridays for the last 3 or 4 months now. But I'm gonna scale it back just a little bit, just so I can go a little bit longer, obviously, and not end up with burning through all the giveaways in a shorter period of time. So yeah, so check out Marvelous XD1's channel. He's got some great stuff, and he's gonna join me in a couple weeks, I think. Yeah, B-Link is definitely one of the best brands. We're here for the cheesecake. All right, so we're changing the theme up a little bit here. We got to bring Heckin' Steve back, because he was the cheesecake lucky charm there. Well, I won't make you do that. I don't mind actually picking one of those up. I don't want to inconvenience you or have you, because I honestly have a bunch of stuff I have to get to first. But yeah, I won't inconvenience you by making you send it to me. I really don't have a problem picking that up. So I will make a note of that. Actually, I'm going to screenshot that right now so I don't forget. Are you watching it in real time? You getting up early for it? What's it on, like 5 in the morning? So we just ended that was the only giveaway. But if you come in here, actually, typically what I do is I'll announce everything in the beginning of the week, and then everybody has all week long to enter to win. But this week we did it just for those that were here in the live stream, so you had to be here to actually get the link. So I do switch it up from time to time, but yeah. Next week will be one that I'll probably announce it on Monday or Tuesday at the latest, and you'll have all week to enter to win. I'm not sure what I'm giving away yet, but I think it's going to be a plug and play game console setup. How many subscribers do you have at the min? How many do I have right now? If you're asking me, I don't know, like 77,000, just under 78,000, something like that. Last I checked, anyways. Rizzo, thank you so much. Appreciate that. Very true. Very true. Yeah, I don't get upset about that by any means. And I know a lot of people, like I said before, there were a lot of winners in Australia in the past. I'm not sure what the time difference is there, but I know it's significant. So if it's late for us here in the U.S., it's got to be certainly a different time over there. So, and then there's a lot of UK people. 77.9. Sweet. Yes, I just emailed him earlier today. We talked about 2 weeks ago, and then I think we both got busy. I know he's super busy as well. So we were looking at, I believe, sometime in March. So that'll be coming up, hopefully. But yeah, I'm really looking forward to Retro Ralph. I never had any discussions with him prior to reaching out, asking him if he'd be interested, and we ended up having a pretty good discussion through email. And I'm definitely interested in getting to know him a little bit. And it seems like we have a lot of crossover with our content too. So yeah, I would love to have Retro Ralph on, and we are working towards that. So looking forward to that one for sure. Thank you so much for spending some time. I'm just going to hang out for a little bit longer with you guys, and then I'll let you all go about your Friday night. Every the different emulators are different. I forget which one that one is, but I don't know, they just have different requirements. You're kind of pulling in different, independent emulators into one specific setup, so there's weird requirements. I'm not really sure of the rhyme and reason behind all of that, but yeah, it is what it is. But you do have that little like instruction in each of the folders. It'll tell you like what file types and whether it's supposed to be zipped or unzipped. So it does kind of walk through what your requirements are, but yeah, it can be confusing. Collection by collection, it does differ. So yeah, I'm gonna probably have to hit that a little bit later in the day. But tomorrow's a big day with all types of stuff. We got, if you're into MMA, there's PFL versus Bellator. That's going to be a good one, and then UFC at night too. So I'm into all that. So I'll probably be switching back and forth, playing catch up throughout the day. They jump in there at random with the live streams. There's like with the regular content, it's a little bit more structured. It's easier to follow, but yeah, with the live streams, it seems they're just at random. So apologize for any inconvenience there. Music of the decades. What's going on? Absolutely. No, I love doing it. Love partaking in this, and being able to interact with you guys every Friday has just been a blast. And I'm grateful to have 114 of you guys still here hanging out. It's been really fun to see how many people want to interact and stuff like that. So we've really created a really interesting and great community here that is just always good vibes. So I always say that because it's how I feel here. It's really sorry, I was just reading that. Really just a great vibe, and a lot of other YouTubers that are doing live streams. I've seen a very different assortment of, vibes and people commenting and stuff. So really cool to, experience. I don't. I don't. It's one that I've never really spent much time in. That definitely is a good way to get around that issue. Yeah, if you're using YouTube a lot, then it's definitely worth it to do that. In addition to a lot of other, great options there with YouTube Premium. I like that. I like that it's I was talking about this briefly before. A few people that I'm planning to bring in here to be guests here on the live streams. We're asking like, do you have a set topic? Do you want to stay within like a certain um, you know, type of discussion or anything like that? I'm like, we just let it rip, and wherever the conversation goes, it goes. And I always interact with you guys, and whatever you guys want to talk about was what we kind of cover. But we all seem to stay to the same topics for the most part. It just works. It's strange that it works as well as it does, but super grateful. And when we had Heck and Steve on a couple of weeks ago, I thought that just went super smooth as well. So good times, and I hope to bring Steve back as well. He's a great friend of mine, and has a great channel. Love his content. So, do you have any gaming hard drive comparison videos, preferably under 12 terabytes? I don't have any like side by side comparisons. I mean, that would be good for some future content for sure. I think there would be value in that for people. Um, I stick to, depends if you're looking for like SSDs. I like Samsung. They're more expensive, but they're super reliable. Seagate is my go-to for mechanical drives. I've had great luck with those. So those are the brands I try to stick to. But there are a lot of more up and coming brands that are actually pretty good too, for especially for SSDs if you want to, stay to a tighter budget. All good, all good. Controllers. So I got this one. Actually, I'm using. So I have this. It's from Macanike, and I have this keyboard that I'm using from them. And I do have a controller. I don't know where it is at the moment, but it's a really great one. So Macanike has a great wireless controller. Let me see if I can grab you the link for that. But then, in addition to that, another one that I really like is. I'll give you some links so you have some options here. So this is the one that I've been using more recently. It's not super cheap by any means, but it is pretty high end. And then I actually have one I'm reviewing tomorrow here on the channel. Tomorrow night I'll have a video. But this one is pretty solid. So I'll give you a link right here. And let me pull another one. Easy SMX is another brand that makes some really great PC controllers that I used up until this one that I just linked you to. I used Easy SMX pretty much exclusively. So I'm going to give you a link to their page rather than like specific products, because you can comb through what they have to offer and see everything. And I've tested out a wide range and reviewed them actually on the channel here. And I've yet to find one that's not phenomenal. So those are the two I would stick with. And then I have a review coming out on the PB Tails Crush controller, which is really cool as well. Let me see if I can give you a link to that. I provided one earlier in this, but I think it was like in the first 10 minutes. Should be in my history here because I just pulled this up. There we go. PB Tails Crush. This was just on Kickstarter, and they just officially launched this like 2 weeks ago, but I was testing this out last night. It's really cool. It's got some amazing features, really cool RGB lighting throughout the entire design. So definitely check that out too. But all of the three options I gave you are really good ones. So sorry to confuse you further, but you really can't go wrong with any of those. So see where your which lines up with your budget best and go with that one. Best retro game hard, like loaded one with like the games included in it, or are you talking about just like a hard drive for game storage and stuff like that? If you're looking for games and everything on there, it's tough because everybody's into different things. So you really have to go through all the tour videos, which are lengthy. I mean, the last one I did on the 12 terabyte setup was like an hour and a half long, but you can gauge exactly what is offered there. That's the plan. I think we're gonna make that happen. He was really interested in doing it, so I was really grateful for that. I did not check that out yet, but it's on my list to dive in there and check it out. No problem. Yeah, there's not one that I would specifically say like this is the best one. I mean, Chris Coolmont has probably the nicest or most well put together ones, but they're not cheap either. So it just depends what you're looking for. But I've done videos on his stuff as well, so if you want to check those out, you should be able to find them pretty easily here on the channel. Which one was it? I think I missed what we were talking about there. Let me know which controller I recommended too, because I didn't recognize the name there. See if that pulls up. Yeah, they definitely have come up quite a ways recently, and they were down for a while too. But I guess that makes sense if they cut production. Yeah, because I mean, the Samsung ones especially were really expensive, and then they definitely seem to become pretty affordable there for a while, and now, yeah, it seems like they just keep going up and up and up. Oh, I mean, I like Batacera, which is Linux, but other than that, no. Um, I really like Batacera a lot, even though it is Linux. But Windows, yeah, I would totally agree with you. Windows has way more support and more capabilities too. More things will work with that. I mean, Technoparrot being a great example, that doesn't work with Linux at all. I mean, hopefully, there are ways that you could get it working, but it's like weird workarounds. And I think the results do kind of vary a little bit there. So, yeah, definitely Windows would have the most support. Glad to hear it. Glad to hear it. We always have a good vibe in here. I definitely look forward to these every week. So, exactly. A buddy of mine was talking to me about that this morning, actually, and he sent me a video, and I was looking through it, and at first glance, like the gameplay actually looks decent, but when you really pay close attention, like I was looking at Sega Rally, somebody was demoing that, going that roundabout way of getting it working, and it was just like really, really choppy, and that shouldn't be a choppy game at all. So yeah, pure chaos. Good vibes though. Definitely a good time. Anybody play the AEW game? I know that gets so much hate right now, but I actually just got it and it's still sealed over there because I haven't tested out. My stepson has it for PS5, and he actually liked it, but he got sick of it pretty quick. But I'm, haven't been dying to dive into it because people have just said it's horrendous. I've watched a lot of videos on it, but I've yet to actually play it. You could look into Retrobat. I mean, Retrobat is basically the Windows version of Batacera. Definitely look into that. I haven't set that up like from scratch, but I believe it's pretty straightforward to set up. That's my understanding, anyways. I've tested out some plug and play drives that use Retrobat, and it's a pretty sweet setup. So definitely worth looking into. That's what I heard. That's what I heard. I mean, graphically it looks decent enough, but and it looked like there were some decent match types, but yeah, I mean, it seems like that's the general consensus there. That's what I heard. Yeah, and I mean, he was into it for a while. He was playing like all day for like 2 days, and then back to Fortnite and WWE. The 12 terabyte one, or the because I reviewed two recently. 12 terabyte one, it's decent. I mean, it's kind of a sloppy mess navigating it, but if you can get past like all the duplicates and stuff, then it's really not it's not terrible. I mean, it gives you access to a lot of ROMs. I think a lot of people will end up just kind of picking through there, taking them over to other setups and kind of fine tuning it. That's probably the way that would be, the best approach to something like that that just isn't put together in a super clean manner. But yeah, it does work. Xbox and PS2, there are some shortcomings there for sure. Take care, RC. Appreciate you as always. Oh, SMX. That's funny. I was just typing that into Amazon and it was doing the exact same thing to me. Yeah, I was just watching a bunch of reviews recently because I recently got the Xbox Series X, and it's funny what they're charging like full price for that game still. It's like there's a version for like 89.99, and then I think the cheapest is like $59. So I have the Xbox Series X, so now I can get actual, hard copies of games, and I got it for I got it on it's sealed, and I got it from somebody that just didn't want it. They said they had a duplicate for like $12 or something. So I figured $12. If I hate it after a day, it doesn't owe me anything. Is retro game hard drive good for people that like retro game, like 12 terabyte? I'm not sure I know what you're understanding exactly what you're asking, but um, I mean, yeah, yeah. Oh, okay, yeah. You can definitely do that. So on my full gaming PC, that's what I'll do. I'll actually install one internally. Well, actually, they're both installed internally. I could actually install stuff externally as well, but I'll just switch the boot order so I don't actually have to physically, remove the SATA connection. You can just go into your boot order and, decide which drive you want to boot into. So that's always an option. It's not too inconvenient. You get used to the process there. Oh, okay. I gotcha. Gotcha. Okay. Yep. Yeah, that's a pretty good one. I can, yeah. As long as it's not like, I mean, YouTube's funny in that the one time I've ever gotten in trouble with YouTube was for providing an Amazon link to a controller, and I do that in literally every one of my videos, and I'm sure somebody could look up and see how many videos I have, but it's in the thousands. So I got suspended for 1 week for providing a link to a controller on Amazon. It was an affiliate link, as most, YouTubers would provide for Amazon links. I mean, everything that I have is an affiliate link for Amazon. It's one of the few ways that we, can generate decent, well, I won't say it's always decent, but some money from, providing links to people. But yeah, they suspended me for a week for that. And that's literally what I do in every video still to this day. So basically, the point is YouTube can give you a hard time for anything that they want, but you can, link to external websites as long as it's not like, an illegal website or anything like that. So I just don't make a point of like linking to too much stuff just because, I fear that I'm going to get suspended again. And that was the dumbest thing ever. I actually did a video on it. This is going back like 3 years or 2 years now. And I talked to multiple people at YouTube and they never could tell me, why that happened. So, and it's annoying because on my dashboard for my YouTube channel, it still comes up as the date that that happened. It was like April of whatever 3 years ago was, but I'm not in YouTube right now because coming in through StreamYard. But yeah, that's a safe bet. It seems like Amazon is the safe one. Oddly enough, that's the one I got in trouble for. But I think that they're pretty accepting of anything that's on Amazon. But I don't think so. No, and that wouldn't be an issue with YouTube. That would be an issue with like Amazon. Like if I was trying to use um, my own link to get a commission off of my own purchase, like that would be something that Amazon would pick up on and have an issue with, not YouTube. I would think, anyways. But yeah, you don't get commissions on like ordering stuff for yourself or anything like that. And for me, I only have one Amazon account, so it all comes from the same place anyway. So it would be impossible to even try to finagle something like that. Plus, it's peanuts at the end of the day. Like people ask me all the time, like, what do you make off of commissions for affiliate links on Amazon? It's 1 to 2%, so it's really minimal. And then there's stuff that's a higher percentage, but with electronics, and that's pretty much all I do here: controllers, mini PCs, cables, and stuff like that. It's 1 to 2% typically, unless they have like a promo or something like that. And then like I know people that do like health and wellness stuff, so like shampoo and cosmetics and stuff like that. That can be like 18%, so that's much more lucrative. But I don't think anybody's getting like makeup links from me. Oh, okay. Because I'm most well acquainted with it, honestly. I'm my own worst enemy with stuff like that just because whatever I'm used to is what I tend to stick to because I don't want to learn a new setup. But those are pretty similar and comparable, especially navigating it. I mean, it's almost identical. So, yeah, I like that they're both though very easy to set up. Whereas like Launchbox, you have to go in and manually add everything in, emulators, ROMs, all that stuff. With Batocera and Retrobat, it's just much more user friendly. So I should say I'm a fan of both of them, not just Batocera, because that's the way it is. I try to get back to everybody, so I'm 100%. No problem at all. Looking for facial cream, please. That would be mutually beneficial, but I wouldn't know where to begin with that one. Sorry. Definitely one of the best consoles with one of the best libraries of games, for sure. It is, yeah, it is. You're right. And I will check out your tutorials too, because I could use them. But yeah, some of the stuff I find to be a little bit challenging. Not so much for me because I have been used to emulation and stuff, but I think for like when people are asking me what is the easiest for like people that are brand new to emulation to get into, I always recommend Batocera or Retrobat. But yeah, I'm familiar with Launchbox personally. I just meant for like people that are just getting into it. Take care. Thank you so much for partaking in everything, and thanks for everybody for showing up. I mean, it definitely is great to have everybody in here and to be able to interact with so many people. It's an absolute blast. Never thought that we'd have even 83 as we're numbers are starting to dwindle down as we're wrapping up, but never thought there'd be that many people in one room chatting with me. So really grateful. Yeah, so I don't use I actually will be using that for like streams for like gaming streams, but currently I'm on StreamYard. But I will make note of that because I'm actually just getting acquainted with OBS. So, well, last week we didn't have any giveaways, so you didn't miss much last week. That one was just kind of a more casual setup, but did a giveaway this week, and then we'll be doing some more next week and bringing new people into the mix here. Have some guests on, so lots of stuff to look forward to. I would definitely be interested in that. Definitely. I think it's definitely easy for people to get acquainted with. And then I think just with emulation in general, you start somewhere and you just kind of graduate and move on from there. And we're always looking for new things and different things to pick our brain with. So I think a lot of people just are always trying to find new platforms and different ways to dive into gaming. Absolutely. So I'm going to be wrapping this up in the next couple minutes. Bader, what's going on? So the winner was, do I still have it open here? William Marquez. Yeah, William Marquez. Yeah, so that was for the Kodlix GD70 mini PC. Damn, that's heavier than I thought it was. There we go. There's the box for it. Me just kidding. We'll keep trying. We're going to keep trying. What were the PC specs you mentioned? For this one, what were the specs on this one? This one got through. I don't have it in front of me right now, but this one could get you through. PS3 was a little sluggish on this one. In my review video, you can walk through, and see exactly what the experience is like with each of the games. But got into some AAA titles, not all of them though. Like Forza, Forza 4 was really smooth, but Halo the latest Halo game, really just screen tearing, just unplayable. So hit or miss with AAA titles, but it'll get you through pretty much everything for emulation. PS3, it wasn't smoothest with PS3, but everything prior to that, perfect. Switch as well, Wii U, all that good stuff. So definitely had some great capabilities. So, all right, guys. Well, I'm going to wrap it up for tonight. Been going for just under 2 hours, but definitely thank you guys so much for supporting the channel, showing up every Friday. Means the world to me. Next week I'm going to have on 2 guests, and it should be a pretty interesting show. These guys are they're characters. They're live streamers, new to YouTube, just getting started, but definitely going to have some good conversation. We'll include everybody that's here in the live chat as well, and I'll have some giveaways, or at least one giveaway next week. So definitely looking forward to it. I'll have a video out in the beginning of next week, announcing what the giveaway product will be, and shouting out the 2 that'll be joining me a little bit more thoroughly, so you guys know who's coming on, what they've been up to, and all that good stuff. So it'll be fun. I've got some great videos in the works for next week as well. Tomorrow I'll have a video out, I think probably 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, for the PB Tails Crush controller, which I talked about briefly here in this live stream today. So definitely check back in the next day or so, and I'll have some more content out in the meantime. So thank you guys so much for watching. I will see you guys real soon. Have a great weekend. Stay safe.